Oops. Oops. Forgot to do that. Oh well. Sorry, folks. Don't have a normal thumbprint up there for you. As usual, just sharing it on Twitter real quick. Get more people to join us. Hello, everybody. What's up, guys? Ooh, wow, a lot of people saying hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, Marissa. Did you hear Marissa? Hello, Marta, Katrina. Hello, Rhonda. Hello, Mal, Samantha, Karen, Kate, Ethel, Connie. Ooh, lots of people showing up here today. Hello, Joy. Nick Picky Vapors and John McKay, hello. Angie Norton, Shweezy, hello. Karen, Letha, hello guys. Andrew Burns, hello. What's going on? What's up, Nick Picky? I'm here today to talk about the Banc judges, and well, the Banc decision and the judges really, which is, well, that's kind of a subject that tends to get me fired up. It's one of the ones I'm pretty darn passionate about, so hopefully I have to try to keep my passion a little bit in check here today. But this is one of the subjects that I tend to get a little bit charged up about. So you emailed me? Okay, great. Okay, I haven't checked just yet, so I just saw your name, so I wanted to say, yay, you won, haha. Where's Andrew Jackson? I haven't seen that guy here yet. He'll probably show up in a little bit. Probably doesn't know yet. On time again. That's 2 in a row. Hey, well, the other one today, to explain to everybody what happened, what was going on today, the video you saw earlier today was actually a call that Paul and Mark and I had last night. We finished it up pretty late. So, I thought it would be better if I because YouTube had like this new feature where I could schedule it. I could schedule it to be available at a certain time, like when people are awake, and instead of like in the middle of the night, like some people kind of give me a little bit of guff about sometimes. Not guff really. They mess with me. They playfully mess with me, but some people talk about that. So I thought, maybe I can just premiere it to show up, sometime in mid-morning or so, and it worked brilliantly. So I think I might do that more often with uploads. And the other cool thing about that is that it then created the live chat next to the video for everybody to chat about it the first time they watch it. And for the people that tune in for the first viewing, essentially. So I thought that was pretty cool that it created the live chat for everybody to talk in while it was going. So I may do that with a lot more of the uploads coming in the future. So just so you guys know, looks like YouTube has got some really cool features coming out here. So I'm going to be trying to figure out how to use them. On time. There's currently a GoFundMe for the salvage yard. Somebody informed me earlier about one. I informed Carla Chase, and she was aware of it, and they'd already reported it, and that's getting handled. So yeah, continue to report them to me. The person who reported it to me actually gave me the name of who it was started by, so I was able to pass that along. So if you guys find that stuff out, just, you know, pass it along, and I'll pass it along. As it turned out this time, they had already seen it, and somebody else, I guess, maybe had already made them aware of it. But never let that deter you. If you see it, let us know. It just may be that, you know, nobody else saw it, and you may be the only one that did. So don't ever be daunted by the fact that sometimes, you know, some other people might see it and make them aware. Just, we want to find all of them. So just saw today when I went to Kratz on Tweeter, he says Stephen raped his 12-year-old niece. Any truth to this? As far as I know, no. As far as I know, there's no truth to that. 12-year-old niece. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see. I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about really there. I know that there was somebody that Stephen was having that was involved with, but that person was of age. So I'm not entirely sure what Kratz is even referring to right there. If you're fired up, it's good. And usually you have good information. Well, yeah, I've gone through the Banc backwards and forwards. So, yeah, it infuriates me. And you guys know mainly why. I mean, and you're going to hear me talk about it today, as a matter of fact. So, see, I told a friend I won a shirt about the control question. And he asked what the control question was. Brilliant. Perfect. It's already doing its job and it hasn't even arrived yet. Let's see. He said guff. That's kind of wonky. That's funny. Okay. Hello from Liverpool. Hello, no comment. I think we're located all over the place, so it's tough to accommodate. Yeah, I know it's tough to accommodate everybody, absolutely. But I figured mid-morning would be a good place to put it, at least mid-morning for me, which is Pacific Standard Time. And then that would be about, like, you know, noon or mid-after or early afternoon for the East Coast. And I don't know. I just figured it would. I don't know. Anyway, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if we'll try different times, and we'll see which one works out best for all of the different locales and time zones, and maybe I'll just use that as the upload time for videos, just so that we can get the most people there at one time. It's always the goal, right? Thanks. Okay, it didn't open for me. Going to check it after this video. Okay. Hey, buddy. Hi, Valerie. OMG, the GoFundMe. Let's see. Where'd it go? This chat thing is so annoying sometimes. Shweezy, good stuff. Thanks for making us aware, Erekose. Absolutely. I'm here to keep people informed. I mean, I want everybody to be able to be informed about what's going on, cases, and like, you know, even things like the GoFundMes and stuff like that. I saw Kratz's tweet today too. Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. Somebody might. I'll have to look into it, and I'll have to try to get back to you on that. But it's like I said, law enforcement was going around and bullying family members of the Avery family to say things about Stephen, like he touched them, whatever. They were bullying him into saying things about Stephen, and obviously we know that they were able to coerce a murder confession out of Brendan, so they were also able to bully him into saying some things. I mean, you guys, I have a video about the things that they were doing, what they were trying to do to Jody. It's disturbing. It's very disturbing. And they were they weren't really asking questions. They were just trying to fish for dirt. They wanted her to say things like Stephen was treated her violently or this or that. They were looking for, and they were pushing for it. It's just absolutely horrific. So it's hard to believe, it's hard to take seriously if those accounts are popping up in this case when law enforcement was working so hard to cultivate those kinds of statements in this case. So yeah, but I'll inquire about this 12-year-old and we'll see what's what there. Judge Hamilton seemed to be the lead judge, not in favor of pushing his point. Well, Judge Hamilton only seemed that way because he was basically heading up the majority judges, so he seemed that way. But Chief Judge Wood is the chief judge. She would just happen to be on the on the side that favored Brendan, and it was clear that she was the chief judge there. I think because whenever she started to speak, everybody else shut up. I noticed that, even the majority judges. So I thought that was interesting. So Kratz cannot accuse a man of rape if the victim has never pressed charges and has never been found guilty in court. This is alleged and nothing more. That's also absolutely true. I can tell you with absolute certainty that Stephen has never been tried and convicted of a rape. He was, but he's been exonerated. Other than the one that he's been exonerated for, he has never been charged and convicted of a rape. Let's see here. It's okay for me here in Australia. Okay, cool. Hi, Karen. Thomas, he may have been 13, definitely underage. It's on his Twitter page this last week. Valerie Walsh, refresh the page. Awesome Maggie, been to Canada and it's beautiful here. Okay, been to Michigan and a bunch. Been to Michigan a bunch too. Cool. Kratz needs to remember he's retired. Yeah, yeah, he certainly does. I assume you guys been running into his lovely counterpart on Twitter. Oh, she's lovely. She's great. I don't know if you guys have met her yet. Do you think Stephen Avery will fall for an Alford plea? Absolutely, Stephen Avery will not be falling for an Alford plea. Kathleen Zellner will not be taking an Alford plea. No way, no how. Ain't happening. Because, and this is a very simple, logical reason why, is that she has already put forth a buttload of money to get testing and all these things because she's going to exonerate Stephen. If she takes an Alford plea, it's like she's just pissing all that money down the toilet. It's like she may as well have thrown it all into a room and lit it on fire. So if that makes people understand, there will not be an Alford plea here. It's not going to happen. Thank you, no comment. Anyone read the KZ interview from today on the Daily Beast? KZ said she's not backing down. Like, yeah. Right. I haven't read it yet, but I want to. I literally got home from work and pretty much had to go. I made myself something to eat, a sandwich and whatever real quick, and got out here so I could be on time for you guys. So haven't had a chance to really read anything since I got home. But I am looking forward to reading that. I didn't believe this lie, but wanted to double check. I can imagine you would. When you hear something like that or see something like that, I can imagine. It unsettles you and it makes you want to ask more questions and find out what's what. That's perfectly understandable. That's how I operate. So I can completely understand that. Let's see, John Kratz is all over this and should be illegal to keep slandering. Yeah, it should be. Hey everyone, sorry I'm late. I was humping it at Amazon today. He must be a delivery truck driver? Hopefully you're not a porn star. Anyway. They are innocent. Hi Nicole. Let's see here. Kratz is an out of the closet narcissist, lives for the attention. Absolutely. Can you search my question? Must have missed it. Okay, your question? Hold on a second, Silas. There you go. He said guff, that's kind of wonky. Okay, wait. Probably not that one. Have you listened to the whole conversation between Barb, Scott, and Steven? The one where Scott goes off on Steven. 17 minutes long, interesting stuff. Yes, I have. It's available on Mystic Jinx channel for those of you who don't know what he's referring to. Yes, I have listened to it. I've read the transcripts of it, and then I listened to it a couple times. Yeah, I'm aware of it. And yes, it is very interesting stuff. I created a Facebook group. I can't take this anymore. Time to inform the peoples. Yeah, and a lot of Facebook groups will go up right now as a bunch of people's interest comes back to the case. We're going to see a bunch of more Facebook groups pop up. I know after MAM1, I started a Facebook group, and you know, it never really took off. I started it probably 7 or 8 months after MAM came out, but and that's probably why, at least probably a big part of it. So, but yeah, they come when the attention's there. The Facebook groups come, and then when the attention starts to leave, they start to thin out again. It's an interesting phenomenon to observe. Maggie C, yes, he is. Too bad Kratz is untouchable, which, yeah, oh well, the way it is right now, all DAs and everybody are pretty much untouchable with immunity. Pretty much Maggie, but yeah, it's been fun watching her belittle him. Are you an Amazon slave as well? Oh, me? No, but we deal with delivery drivers a lot at my work, so that was just me making a educated guess. On Queso, Tammy talks about Steve groping the breasts of the neighbor's 13 and 14-year-old girls. Okay, well, Thomas may be right about that. Somebody obviously may have said that. So, it's hearsay. I will say that. But Barb clearly said she left. Zellner has put down a lot of money to attempt to exonerate Stephen, but if he's offered an Alford plea, she can't stop him from taking it. Not saying... Well, she's his legal counsel right now, though. She is his legal counsel, so everything pretty much goes through her right now. Now, Stephen could fire her. Don't think that would be in his best interest if he did that. But I guess he could fire her to take an Alford plea if he wanted. But we all know how Stephen is. Stephen sat in 18 years. He sat in jail for 18 years the first time because he was too stubborn, and God bless him, he was just too stubborn to tell the state that he did it so that he could get out. We know how stubborn this man is. So trust me, there's not going to be an Alford plea. It's just not in the cards. It's not going to happen. It's just not. Zellner doesn't want it, and Stephen's not going to want it. Zellner has put down a lot of money. Yes, right, like I said. Yeah, and like I said, yeah, but he won't. We know how Stephen is with his first conviction. He's going to be just the same way now, in my opinion. That's my educated opinion. Thomas Hens try to deal with actual facts and evidence. That is hearsay. Yeah. Steve would not take an altered plea or an Alford plea. Right, absolutely. He's right. Stephen won't admit to doing something he didn't do after all this time. Exactly. He didn't do it the first time. He won't do it now. Papa ain't gonna want it either. They will never offer Avery anything. Yeah. They're never gonna offer him anything. That's true. It's anything he gets is gonna be hard fought. It's going to be tooth and nail. It's, yeah. Right now, with Zellner as his lawyer, yes, he would be very stupid to try and take an Alford plea. He'd be better off allowing Zellner to do what she's going to do because she's already gotten out plenty of people. And trust me, many of those people laughed at her and told her, you'll never get this person out. You'll never get this person out. Lo and behold, she got them out. and several, she talks about several of her exonerations that people were constantly telling her how it was impossible, she'd never win, and she won. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my faith in Zellner on this, because from what I know of researching this case, I know the state's a joke. So I'm gonna go with the one who seems like they have their stuff together and has their ducks in a row, and that's Zellner. I'm thinking Alfred plea is advisable. I don't think it is either. A complaint from a sexual assault complaint is not hearsay. There's direct evidence. A complaint from a sexual assault complainant. Yes, if it was from a sexual assault complainant, that would not be hearsay. But if it's as you said, Thomas, and I can't believe that I'm having to say this, but if it's as you said that somebody else was looking at and saw Stephen doing something to somebody else the way you described it, that is hearsay, because the person observing it was not directly involved. Stephen Avery sat in prison for 18 years, and there's no way in hell he would buckle. Right, absolutely. Stephen's proven who he is. I have no doubts of who Stephen is, and he's stubborn, and he will maintain his innocence, and he will continue to fight for it just like he did before. It's the consistency in Stephen that eventually made it where I was able to go, you know what, I think this guy's innocent. This was one of the things, because I told you guys all, I was on the fence after MAM. I didn't immediately jump on the Stephen bandwagon. I jumped on the retrial bandwagon. I was like, yeah, I would like to see a retrial here, but I didn't immediately jump on the, Stephen is innocent bandwagon. It took me a while to get there, but that was one of the things. So, Stephen's consistency. His consistency, and I've never seen Stephen caught in a lie. I've seen all kinds of agents of the state caught in a lie, but I've never seen Stephen. And he's always consistent, always steady as a rock. Stephen is just the same guy. So that's one of the ways that Stephen was able to win my favor. She's not just gonna get him out. She's gonna solve the crime. Yeah, she is. Like I said before, Zellner wears many hats. Zellner's gonna be wearing her prosecutor hat. She's gonna be wearing her defense attorney hat. She's gonna be wearing her investigator hat. She's looking like Clouseau. No, just kidding. Anyway, no, but she's gonna be trying to do all those things, and she does those things well. And if you don't believe it, you can just look at her successes. How do they explain the blood smears around the ignition? There's no fingerprints anywhere. Exactly. That blood smear has been 100% fishy since day one of MAM1. Everybody believes that was put there with a Q-tip. I don't even ever hear the guilters trying too hard to defend that squiggle over by the ignition. I mean, it's one of the most ridiculous things in the case, to be perfectly honest. Just started watching The Staircase and you're on the second episode. Oh yeah, good. I have 3 or 4 videos about that, Armdal. So when you're done with The Staircase, make sure you check out my videos, especially the one that I have. I have one where I was able to find a picture of a scene where somebody had fallen down the stairs, and it looked in a lot of ways similar to the Peterson staircase. So, anyways, when you're done, Armdal, when you're done, let me know. I want to make sure you check out that video. Marie was prepared to testify at Avery's trial if needed. Marie was how old? I get all that. Just saying he's worried about losing his parents. Yeah, right. I got it in the season 2. Right. I can't believe how corrupt and duplicitous the U.S. judiciary is. Yeah. I think best way to clear them is to find another victim of a frame job. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so I was actually just thinking about that myself. There, L. Fallon. So I was going to go ahead and get on into the bulk of what I wanted to talk about here. fingerprints, trial, dispute blood. Okay, so some of you may be like, coming into this right now, you're like, what the hell is an en banc, you know, or en banc, as I've heard it pronounced both ways. But anyway, either way, you may be asking, what the hell is that? You know, well, I didn't know either. Trust me, but I've been following along the last 2.5 years, and I found out what it is. And what it is when you go to when your case goes to a federal circuit court, you go before a 3-judge panel. If 2 of those judges side with you, then you win. Your case, wins, right? So that's essentially what happened with Brendan. He came to the 7th Circuit Court. He was before a 3-judge panel. 2 of those judges sided with him, and he was supposed to be once again released. Or, well, he was, his conviction was overturned and his confession was thrown out. So at that point, the state then appealed again. The state, and I referred to this literally as a Hail Mary, because that's what it was. Brad Schimmel, after losing twice, was just like, didn't know what else, but thought, you know what, let me just try this, and files for an en banc review, and just Hail Mary, and miraculously, he gets it. He gets it, and then it goes in favor of the state. And now Brendan's conviction is now back instated, and it's a ridiculous mess. But we're going to be talking about here today some of the things about it, some of the things about the judges, and just what is particularly just strange about the en banc proceedings, and I think also to talk a little bit about the dissenting judges, Judge Wood, Judge Rovner, and Judge Williams, to talk about them, because I gotta tell you, their dissent was beautiful. It was a thing of beauty. There was actually 2. Judge Wood wrote a dissent, and then Judge Rovner wrote her own dissent. And Judge Wood, man, she really went all out on hers. She put in there exactly why, like literally put in something Brendan said, and then she went in and found where Brendan would have heard that in the media or heard it from the investigators previously, and or where she'll go back in, a page or a couple minutes in the video, and to a point where the officer suggested that thing, and she goes and makes this like itemized graph of how all this information that supposedly was provided by Brendan was actually provided to him before, and it's amazing. It's a thing of beauty. I have a video about the dissenting judges, their opinion. If you guys want, you guys can go check it out. You just type in en banc dissenting judges, and it should pop right up. So they're absolutely brilliant. They're and so I think we can talk about both of those things. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about before I get into talking about like the control question and stuff was Judge Can. And you guys will remember Judge Can from MAM2 because they featured him. They featured him in it. The bit where he goes, "Oh, so what? They needed 2 killers? Oh, what? They needed 2 killers?" Where he sounds like your grandpa telling the kids to get off of his lawn. That guy, right? So, that guy. Trust me, when I was originally listening to the en banc and that guy started saying that, I was like furious, like going, "What? Are you an idiot, dude? Have you reviewed this case at all? Like you're supposed to?" I mean, it was just utterly ridiculous to me. And that wasn't the only time I found myself wondering if the majority judges had actually reviewed this case, or if they had somehow made their decision in some kind of arbitrary manner or fashion. But that was definitely one of the first times, because how the heck do you not understand that they were trying to seal a conviction against his uncle? How do you not understand that could have been happening there? And I mean, and then not only to number one, not see that, but then to just suggest in a very dumb way, "Oh, so what? They just wanted 2 killers?" I mean, the way he even says it, it throws Laura Nyrider off guard because she's like, oh, what is this guy? I mean, she probably had the same thought I did. Is this guy's senility setting in right now? That's what I thought. The way he said it, the way he was talking, that was totally my thought when he said that. I was just like, and that's why I make the joke about he sounds like your grandpa telling the kids to get off of his lawn. Because that's what he sounded like. That's seriously what he sounded like. And I I just couldn't stand that bit. But, you know, I just wish Laura Nyrider would have just kind of gotten a little bit, you know, maybe just a little bit offended by that. And maybe just a little bit and gotten a little bit, you know, passionate and explained a thing or two to Judge Can. I would have loved that. But, you know, she's trying to be respectful of these judges and that sort of thing. So it's always a fine line you're walking when you're in oral arguments. Hey, so glad you caught me too. How's it going there? 1984. Also, Stephen did not look at how they said what happened to Teresa, right? That's exactly what I thought, but the judge didn't have a clue. Right, exactly, right? I mean, I seriously, my first thought was like, oh my God, is this judge's senility setting in? I totally, that was my first thought. I swear to God, I'm not kidding. The way he sounded, I was questioning his you know, capability of you know, being rational. 2 words, day planner. Thanks. Yeah, I was yelling at the TV, but KZ is so cool. She explained they needed BD's testimony to seal the case. You should be a teacher. Perhaps I should someday when I go back and get some more schooling. Maybe I can be a professor, like Mr. Drizzen and Miss Nyrider. Oh, thank you, Mr. Fallon. You're very kind, sir. You're very kind. My dad's dad was like 80 when I was little, and he used to yell like that, "Get off my lawn," right? I thought some were disrespectful to Nyrider. I thought they kind of were too, but I thought she just handled herself well. She was very classy. She didn't let the judges, you know, negativity get her off of her game. I thought it was great. You can call me Andy Erekose. Oh, okay, Andy. Alrighty, got it. 1984 Rabbers is Andy. Got it. Somebody was asking me about the bird no longer tweeting. I think it was you, L. Fallon. But you can hear the freaking train off in the distance, can't you? I hate that train. I'm baffled how it takes years for lawyers to get appeals through. The DA can file an emergency appeal and hold it with the... Yeah, well, yeah. They always get the juice, don't they? They always get the preference. Yes, those judges were awful. Not the dissenting ones. The dissenting ones were brilliant. Trust me. You just read their dissenting opinions and you'll know what I mean. They're oh my God. They're awesome. His name was Oscar. We called him Oscar the Grouch. That's funny. I loved Oscar the Grouch when I was a kid. Actually, it's Miss dropped Mr. A while ago. Oh, Miss. Oh, sorry, Miss Fallon. Okay. Let's see where. Okay, there it is. Nyrider handled herself well. I thought so. All good, Silas. The way they cut Nyrider off annoyed me. Yeah, I agree. Simply because she only had 20 minutes and they were cutting her off. Yeah. You know, the other thing that bugged me? Thank you, Marissa. You just reminded me of something that just totally flippin' pissed me off. And I am sorry. I'm going to miss some of your comments right now because this is going to take me a minute. But the thing that killed me was when Judge Hamilton was he was, you know, asking Nyrider questions and everything, and he goes like, he says like this. He puts up a total hypothetical scenario. Okay? He says to her, what if we side with you and we grant Brendan's writ of habeas corpus or whatever, you know, topped it off. Basically, what if, you know, fairy tale land, if we did this, right? And then he says, what are your suggestions to police officers moving forward? And whatever. And so Laura Nyrider begins to, at first she goes, well, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not here to suggest that sort of thing. And he goes, and Judge Hamilton goes, oh no, I know. I'm just asking you, he says, right? So he's sucking her in. I hate this. I hate listening to this part because I can see him doing it. I can tell he's doing it, and he's sucking her in. So she finally goes, okay, and she starts making a few smart suggestions, just things that would be just kind of common sense things, like, to suggest that might be a good idea moving forward with mentally limited juveniles, right? And suddenly Judge Sykes, which is the lady judge that was part of the majority, suddenly she starts jumping down Nyrider's gosh darn throat. Oh, could not believe it. And she was reading, she was practically reading Nyrider the Riot Act. Nyrider tried not to answer the question in the first place. Judge Hamilton pushed it. And when Judge Sykes jumped down her throat like that, I was livid. Absolutely livid. Beside myself, livid. Could not believe that. That was, to me, just completely bull. Just complete bull. And then you add to all of this. So you got all these shenanigans, right, that I'm discussing. And then you add to that the control question. Okay? If you guys have been watching my videos about the control question, you'll know that in the on-bank majority's decision, they cite the two things that it takes to be able to, for a federal court to be able to overturn a state court conviction. There has to be one of two things that happens. One of those things that they tell you right there in their own decision is an unreasonable finding of fact. Okay, and to a point where it would be no reasonable judge could find differently. Basically, it's where it has to be really strong. Essentially, unreasonable finding of fact at the trial court. Well, we all know that the control question is a prime example, okay? A prime example of a unreasonable finding of fact at the trial court. That all that business with what they say about the control question shows that Brendan was resisting officers. That's all a fact that was found by the trial court. The trial court can't understand the English language. Okay, so this thing then, so we have the state misrepresenting the control question and what it is for all those years, right? And then suddenly, finally, this thing gets to a federal circuit court. And suddenly we have a group of judges that take that same fact that just looking at it on its surface, you can tell doesn't do what they say it says, or doesn't do what they say it does, isn't what they say it is, just by looking at it. And then they regurgitated that in their decision as proof that Brendan was resisting officers, when it's proof of exactly the opposite of that. So here's my question, right? Here's the question you got to ask yourself at that point when they're putting in what is clearly an unreasonable fact from the state court into their own decision. How many other unreasonable facts did they most likely miss? Because not only did they miss the control question being unreasonable, they actually went ahead and used it in their own decision. It's bewildering. It's absolutely bewildering. And like I said, it leaves you with the question of, if you could miss that fact and not only just miss it, but use it as if you think it reinforces your decision, it's just baffling. It's mind-boggling, to be perfectly honest. So, back to the chat here. What were you wondering? Let's see here. What did Beck say? Do you think Drism would have been more successful at the on-bank hearing? I don't know. I'm honestly, I don't know. I've never actually seen or heard Stephen Drizin argue yet. I've heard Laura Nyrider because I was following Brendan, but I have not yet had anything become available to me where I actually get to listen to Stephen Drizin arguing a case. I've read some court decisions on some cases that he was involved with, but that's not like listening to the oral arguments or anything like that. So I just don't know. I don't know how, but most likely he would have been just as good, possibly better. Do you think all the judges listened to them ask the control question, or they just saw that Manitowoc County said he resisted? That's kind of, yeah, that's something that I was thinking that was absolutely possible. That they just were like on automatic pilot and then like didn't even really look at the case. And that's kind of one of the things that I was thinking. Watched your link from Northwestern. Excellent. Yeah, that's the true confession, true story of a false confession. Brilliant video. Long, but brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Packed full of very useful information. Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, hopefully I can get it right this time. Did Stephen originally give the police 4 different stories about TH when questioned by the police? No. Stephen has always had one story. He came out, she took the pictures, he gave her the money, she gave him an auto trader, he went back in. That's always been his story. It has never changed. I've never seen any evidence of that it's changed. And you would think if there was evidence of that the guilters would be proliferating it everywhere. And that law Bill Clinton signed messed up. Yeah. Well, it wasn't just Bill Clinton's fault. You got to hold Congress accountable for that. And you got to kind of hold the people accountable for that too, because everybody was scared because of what happened in Oklahoma City, and that fear caused us to allow the government to repeal some of our rights. That's the thing about fear, folks. That is the thing about fear. You got to be careful. It's one thing to want to protect yourself, but when you start taking away your own rights because you want to feel safer, yeah, it's a slippery slope, and you just got to be careful about that. And AEDPA is a perfect example of it. Oh, thank you very much, Silas. That's very kind. You know what? I think I will have a Stella. Here we go. Yes, and like I said, that's why I say, you know, people, don't let fear rule you. Fear is a good tool. Fear is good, and it's necessary to feel it. But you can't let your fear rule you to the point where you start allowing the government to take your rights away from you. That's a slippery slope, and you got to be careful. Cheers, Sweezy. Just get the little paper off of there. All right. Success. So thank you very much for Stella time there, Silas. Someone claimed that the family wanted TH's estate. She was driving miles for an $18 photo. Yeah, I suppose there's probably something to that. Yeah. And it was only $18 if it was a hustle shot, by the way. It was $8 if it was a lead from Auto Trader. So there's always that. I wish Robert Dvorak did the on Banc. Yeah, it might have been interesting, I suppose. But Laura, see, the whole thing is that Laura was the one that took on Brendan Dassey. You know, it was a case she took on, and so Steve Drizin and Robert Dvorak were really there just trying to support her in her effort, because it was basically like the first thing she took on upon completing law school and getting her bar license, right? So it was kind of her baby. So I hope that helps for people to understand why it was Knight Rider. You know, maybe, you know, Drizzt might have been able to step in, but I don't think he would have wanted to, because he wouldn't have wanted to destroy Laura's confidence. And I don't think there was any reason to. Those majority judges had their minds made up before Luke Berg and Laura Knight Rider set foot in that court that day. They had their minds made up. Like I said, the way that they drew Laura in, the way that Hamilton lured her and drew her in, and got her talking about, you know, what police might do in the future, you know, all on a hypothetical of, if we were to grant your you know, writ of habeas corpus, and then like I said, Judge Sykes just going and jumping down her throat just pissed me the hell off. Ooh, what happened there? The chat jumped. King Kratz should be on Catch a Predator. Why should Wisconsin State be allowed to hold the retrial? It would be safer to take it elsewhere and negotiate a chance of without a chance of and negate a chance of a biased jury. Yeah, but Wisconsin's not interested in that. It's going to be KZ that would, you know, fight for something like that. The state's going to want to keep it where they have the most control, of course. Is there any noise suggesting Bobby or Scott did know TH prior? There was something about, I think something about a number. I can't remember quite right. Something about a number on TH's phone records that was Scott's, possibly. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. So, but I think there was something strange like that. But like I said, it's like a year and a half ago when I remember hearing about that, and I'm not 100% sure on any of the details of it now. Dilly dilly. Let's see. Yes, you nailed. I don't believe that Thomas. Okay, Knight Rider did a great job. She was railroaded by Judge Hamilton. He's a tool. Yeah. I worry that Brendan's case is over. KZ said she would never set foot in a federal court. Right. She says she won't set foot in a federal court because she's obviously probably been down that road once or twice with some of her previous exonerations, and she's just gotten to the point where what works for her is to just keep on pounding on the door at the district court where this all started, or where the case all started. She's found that just continuing to pound on that door over and over and over is the thing that tends to work. I worry that Brendan's case is over. I don't think Brendan's case is over. I mean, it looks that way. I mean, I can understand that you see it that way right now, but it's not. Something else is going to get initiated. Too many people see what was going on in that confession. Too many people see it. And too many people don't like it, and too many people are not ready to stand for it. It's people are starting to realize that the juveniles in our criminal justice system are like lambs to the slaughter. And it's going to start to be, as more and more people begin to understand that, and they apply that oh my God, that could be my child. That's where we get it. Has anybody learned anything from King Kratz after the? He did a Twitter Q&A yesterday, I believe it was. King Kratz did. Scott Ryan should take that test. Steven took brain fingerprinting. Yes.
Power off.
Yes, would love to see the results. That ex-boyfriend is one who did it. Okay, Ryan Hillegas. Yep, many people think that. Yep. When will a legit judge respond to the 1,000 pages? The 1,000 pages is on hold right now. So let me try to explain this. The original was actually 1,200 pages. That was filed. Judge Sukowitz denied it or whatever. That appeal was brought to the appeals court and filed, and that was there ready. They were just waiting for that. While that was there and waiting, before anything had happened with that, the state suddenly turned over the CD that had been in Tom Fassbender's personal custody for 12 years. Right? So they hand this, they suddenly, after, this gets you thinking, dude. The state was worried because they're suddenly now handing over a CD that they had kept in Tom Fassbender's personal custody for 12 years. So they handed the CD over. She saw what the CD was, what it was, and she started figuring out all the shenanigans that they had pulled with the computers, so that and all the stuff that was on there. And that's when she started filing the Brady violation about the CD and the computer evidence, and that's what's currently pending. So as the CD and the Brady violation thing is moving forward, the original 1,200 page motion itself is sitting on hold, basically on a stay, they call it. I believe it's called a stay. So it's just sitting there, and nothing's going to happen with it until they have whatever resolution with the CD and the Brady violation. Scott just started dating Barb 2 weeks earlier. Yeah. Wonder how many accidents and crashes. I imagine all these children that end up in the jail. Yeah, absolutely. What if they had Brendan tested for Asperger's, autism, etc.? If he has conditions like that, they could probably use that as evidence. Yeah, but it's not like that. He just has some slight learning. He's not the quickest learner, but I think he's come a long way, learning and getting educated while he's been in prison. Do you think any of this would have happened had there not been a $36 million lawsuit? I think it's entirely possible that Stephen may not have been fingered for this if there wasn't. What if they had Brendan tested? Yeah, I already read that. They still can appeal based on the lack of evidence and everything that Zellner is figuring out. Yeah. So I would imagine that as Zellner continues to shoot holes in the state's case, some of that may become useful to Brendan's lawyers. The video I saw about Stevens changing stories, making a murderer, Stevens changing stories about Hallback appointment, creator is Luke Zun. Okay, yeah, you know what? I know of that YouTuber. A couple of interesting videos from that YouTuber. I'll have to go look at that. Yes, the juveniles are being done wrong. I saw another case, The Last Defense, Julius Jones. That is a must-see too. Let's see, Julius Jones. I don't think I've heard of that one. Hi, Juliet. Why was Scott so mad at Steven during the phone call with Barb? Well, because of Zellner's accusations. He was losing his temper. Man, that Fassbender and Colburn make my blood boil. Yeah. Thanks for explaining the 1,000 pages. So we have to wait until 12/20. Well, yeah. Well, 12/20. That's when she's gonna file about the Brady violation. So that's gonna be the beginning. That's gonna be the beginning of the Brady violation at the appeals court, and then the written arguments will be, she'll do hers, then the state will enter theirs with the appeals court, and then she will enter a reply to the state's response. And then once those three things are filed, the court will take those, and they will either ask for oral arguments, in which they will schedule a date for both sides to come in and do oral arguments, or they will make decision based on the written briefs. So that's where that is. I thought of Asperger's. Yeah, I get it. I know what you mean, but I just think I don't think so. I just think Brendan's he's come a long way, in my opinion. I think at the time he was struggling as a youth, dealing with all of the hormones of youth and you know, like he was having trouble with the ladies, that you know, was messing with his self-esteem, I'm sure. So there's just so many things going on at that age, and he just didn't have the maturity level yet, and he didn't have enough, you know, he just didn't have enough experience at that point in time to really help himself. Yes, it's new on ABC. Watch it. It's called The Last Defense of Julius Jones. Okay. I feel like the whole thing will unravel quickly and all at once for both Stephen and Brendan. Yeah, I mean, I hope it will too. But you know, it may be a little bit of time. Like I said, I've been watching these court filings for the last 2.5 years, and I mean, I find them fascinating. But I know that not everybody does. So that's why I keep trying to report on them, and I make short little punchy videos so that I can take an 80-page document and give you guys a 20-25 minute video for those people that really don't want to read an 80 to 100-page document, so that they can hopefully get the gist of what's going on. That's always been my goal here. It's always been my aim here, because I want everybody to be able to understand what's happening in these cases, and to make it that much harder for agents of the state or the Ken Kratzes of the world to try to spread lies about the case. I was a victim. I was questioned for 14 hours without food and water. Yeah, that sucks, Marissa. It absolutely sucks. Regarding C. Brady violation, are they going to throw Kratz under the bus? It'll be interesting to see what happens with that, Miss Fallon. That's crazy, Marissa. Yeah, that is crazy. Sorry about your troubles. No food or water. Yeah, that's horrible. Can you clarify why Barb wasn't present at Brendan's interview? Okay, so on March 1st, Brendan wasn't there, or Barb wasn't there because Barb was in court. Barb was in divorce court until 2:30 that day. She wasn't there because she couldn't be there. And then when she got there, they say that they gave her the opportunity to go in, but she says that they were telling her that she shouldn't go in, and they were telling her all kinds of, like, really, you know, basically, well, like, this is why I say Barb has been bullied. She has been bullied and pushed around in this from day one. But yeah, they didn't want to let her in. They didn't want to let her in. Did they ever do any other searches to find the rest of her bones? Well, they were... I mean, they had, you know, dogs down and searching Kuss Road and stuff, and it's those reports that Zellner is able to, you know, is now using to be able to piece together what actually happened over there in the Redont Quarry and the Manitowoc gravel pit. So yeah, they were looking and checking things, and I know for a fact that they drug lead crime scene tech Ertl and his team, or a member of his team, out to the western edge of the Avery property, which is where it meets up with the Redont Quarry, and they had him digging up what was they were trying to dig up what they thought was a burial site, but it turned out it was just a rotten stump of a tree. So yeah, they were trying to dig up things. They were looking for things. Whether they were ultimately looking in the right places or really wanting to find anything other than on this Avery salvage lot is another story. Is appalling people's okay. The day Zellner has accused Bobby and Scott of murder, and Barb is covering up. Okay. I hope Zellner has looked into that detail. I'm assuming she has. I don't think she misses many details. Brett's in Boston just wrote me back and said he's referring to a 2004 incident. Oh, thank you very much, Chase. That is very kind. Thank you very much. Cheers. Let me go back up and find that. 2004 incident of a relative who was under 18. Avery admitted to hunting fish and etc., but no sex. Jody and Tammy Weber stated Stephen admitted. Right. So and I'll be the first one to tell you, folks. Steven's not like, he's not the most cuddly, warm and fuzzy guy. He has some rough edges, and it's, you know, some of this stuff is one thing, but I don't think any of it suggests that he's a murderer. Unfortunately, if Manitowoc County had wanted to go after Steven in some kind of, you know, litigation over these supposed things, which I can't even really put a lot of stock in because of how hard law enforcement was pushing people and bullying people to make statements like this. So it's really hard to put a lot of stock in these kinds of statements in this case. But the fact of the matter is, no matter what, yeah, Steven was a bit rough around the edges. He was, you know, he has, just like most human beings, he has his less than fine sides. They didn't want to believe my accusations, and hoping my story would change, or hoping I would change my story. Just a few more questions. Let us clarify. We can get out of here. Oh yeah, that's I imagine that would be pretty psychologically taking its toll. I'm so sorry about that, Marissa. Funniest part of MAM2 is KZ and KK is a moth to the flame and can't stay away from the case. That's true. That's absolutely true. I agree, no comments. She seemed to be placing more value on her own life than his. Okay, yeah. Barb not being there is covered in a link you provide from university. Yeah, I do. I have a video about Barb and what happened that day. They never looked in the quarry, did they? Well, they found some things in the quarry. Like I said, Zellner's saying they found things over at the Manitowoc gravel pit and in the quarry. So, Calumet County Sheriff took the report. Wendy Baldwin took the report. Yeah, good old Wendy Baldwin. Good old bloody rag Wendy Baldwin. You know, she was running around the Avery salvage yard at one point with a bloody rag. It was Steven's blood. Yeah. Absolutely, Maggie. She knows more than she's letting on. Philly. I thought it was Dilly. Did I miss something? Philly then. All right. Philly, Dilly. There we go. Should look now. She is out there. If you don't believe they are guilty, if you don't believe they are guilty, you should be actively promoting the truth on social media or discussion groups to join on Facebook. Good evening, Erekose. Oh yes, thank you very much, Chase. You're very generous. Thank you. It's very appreciated. You're very kind. Erekose, do you have any info on the bullet ballistics? Well, see, that's the whole thing about 22 bullets, though. Especially at that point in time, Wisconsin didn't really have a way of doing ballistics testing on 22 rifles. So I think Peg Lautenschlager ended up somehow doing something where I guess they jury rigged something so that they could try to, but whatever equipment they were using wasn't set up for the 22 and stuff. So any ballistics, information that would come from them is dubious, really, at best. Wisconsin didn't get the ability to do proper ballistics on 22 caliber rifles until 2009. I think it was 2009, or it might have been as late as 2012. But like I said, definitely didn't have it in 2005 through 2007. So any ballistics that you might find are going to be dubious. I.e. Stephen Avery. Don't watch Dr. Phil. Actually, everybody, you should watch the one where he grills Peterson and gets Peterson to say something that Peterson didn't want to say. You should always watch that one because that one's really good. Even if he did this, it doesn't matter. He tortured and dismembered a woman. If he did this. Oh, right. Even if he did this, it doesn't mean he tortured. Right. Even if he did those things, doesn't mean that he's a horrible murderer. But as I say, I can't even like, in my mind, I can't even feel like I can take those accounts credibly, because like I know that Barb even says the police were trying to, the investigators were trying to get her to say that Stephen touched her and tried to rape her and things, maybe not rape, but like he was trying to do inappropriate things to her, and they tried to get her to say those kinds of things. And she told Stephen that, I believe, in the phone call, in that prison call. It's absolutely shocking what these investigators were doing. It's absolutely shocking. Zellner requested. What happened there? Requested. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Okay. I friggin' love Erekose. Remembers everything. Names, dates. When it comes to this case, I remember quite a bit. But I will tell you what, after 2.5 years, I do find myself starting to think back on things that I researched 2 years ago and stuff like that. And I'm starting to find that my facts are getting a little fuzzy. And I think I need to go and do a refresher on some areas. Love your shows. Oh, thank you, Tom. I sent you the report by email. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thomas Hentz seems to be desperate. Well, Thomas has his point of view, and he does like to try to give people his side, and that's good. I mean, I'll be honest, people. I don't think Thomas Hentz is, completely, out there. I think sometimes he makes good points, and I think sometimes he's a pretty rational dude. But yeah, definitely sometimes he comes off that way a little bit. But it's actually nice to have at least one person in here who doesn't necessarily agree with us about Stephen, even though he does agree with us about Brendan. If you guys didn't know that, he does. Thomas Hentz agrees with all of us that Brendan should have been gone free. Anybody who is capable of threatening others with a gun, knife, intentionally killing another person. Right. Yep. We know you think Stephen's guilty, Thomas. We got it. Exactly. They probably made them people say those things. I really don't believe he did. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say, but if he did do those things, they should have been pursuing litigation for those things instead of pursuing litigation for a murder that could not have happened where they say it happened, could not have happened anywhere near where they say it happened. And instead of doing what they did, they should have gone after him for the things that they're claiming he was doing and proved those in a court of law instead of what they did. So you need a moderator for the chat. Erekose, you're too nice. He seems to be just here to stir. Yeah, I know. That's why I ignore him most of the time, Beck. I ignore him most of the time. Every once in a while, I'll throw him a little bone. Like I said, I don't hate Thomas. I actually little tiny bit like Thomas. But anyway, don't want to waste any more time talking about Thomas. I think Kratz is the real murderer. I have heard so many people say that in the last couple of days. It's so funny. It is. I mean, the guy's such a creep. Who knows? I mean, I don't think he's a murderer, but obviously with all the sex, the way he handled the victims of domestic abuse and with what he did and stuff, I mean, he's definitely thrown some doubt into the mix. Thomas Hentz, okay, didn't know, okay. No matter what my opinion is regarding Steve, I have huge respect for Erekose. Oh, thank you, Thomas. I do have respect for you too as well, buddy. And as I said, it's nice to have another voice in here that doesn't believe exactly the way we do, folks. It is kind of nice to have that. For me, it is, actually. Because I'm all about wanting to get outside of the little bubble. We want to be worried. We want to, we want to be mindful about making sure that we don't just get stuck in our little bubbles, in our little echo chambers, talking to the people that think the same way that we do, and all that, and be afraid to get out of that bubble. And by having people like Thomas and other people who feel maybe similarly to the way that he does, we get a little bit of the other side in here, so that you don't have to believe him. You don't have to believe what he says. You don't have to accept what he says. But I think it's always nice to know what the other side thinks, what they have to say, and what kind of things are going through their heads. I always find that to be a little bit useful, so that's why I am always very, very nice to people like Thomas, especially people like Thomas, because yeah, he is persistent, but he is respectful, and when you're respectful on my channel, I mean, you can pretty much get away with murder as long as you're respectful. I say you can get away with murder, but you know what I mean, is that really on my channel it's all about, I just want people to be able to talk about these issues and things like this without tempers flaring, without personalities getting involved, but talk about the facts of the case, or to talk about aspects of the case. And if at the end of the day you don't agree after your discussion with somebody, then you walk away and you just didn't agree, and life goes on, and there's no hard feelings, and la-di-da, right? That's what I hope for here. But I always like to have an ear on the other side. I do. Hey Thomas, did Stephen leave with Teresa to kill her while he was in the cell? Oh yeah. Okay. Did that get it? Here we go. So many facts, you'd think it was a fictional novel. Agatha Christie. Yeah. Kratz would kill someone by drowning them in sweat. The evidence seems to make the most sense how Zellner lays it out, and that's just it. And that's what she said herself, right? She said when you find out what really happened, all the things just start to go click, 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 right into place. Boom. And that's what she's doing here. And that's what she's showing is happening. Yeah, it's crazy. Yes, I believe Steve killed Teresa while Brendan was at school. Right, I know you do, buddy. Kratz sold his family for a bucket of KFC back in '93, according to the court documents. I don't know if the court documents have that, folks. I'm gonna call BS on that. I want to see the proof on that. C4P. Have another stellar. Good night, Thomas. We'll see you, buddy. Do I even have another Stella here? Hold on. Nope. I gotta put more Stella in the studio fridge. Oh boy. Okay, so there you go, guys. Do you have a theory on who did it? Basically, I default right now to what Zellner's, pointing at. In addition to, obviously following Zellner, obviously, beyond what Zellner's saying right now, I have a few other issues. I have an issue with whoever it was that was calling Teresa and harassing her. I really want to know who that was. that is a person of interest for me. Problem is the investigation never found out who that was. So, or at least I've never been able to find it. And then I'm also a little bit interested in Michael Osmondson, because it's just odd to me that he was making the jokes that ended up almost becoming one of the damning facts against Avery. If it hadn't been for quick thinking by Dean and Jerry to counter that move by Kratz, I mean, who knows how that would have ended up, and that could have ended up going in as a fact for the jury to consider. So, yeah. I did it for The Rock, did it for the people. But the investigation's so botched, it could actually be someone we haven't thought of. Yeah, it could be somebody completely unknown. Sure. The real issue is who didn't do it. Excellent chat. Get off your ass and fill that fridge. You want to fill it right now? That's funny. I have Dr. Pepper's in there though. See, you guys can tell I like Dr. Pepper, right? Oh, I love Stella, man. Stella's good stuff. Has Bobby Dassey lawyered up since? As far as I haven't heard about him lawyering up yet, but I think it's probably smart for him if he's not going to go see Zellner and try to clear himself. It'd probably be a good idea. How have they not found out who's calling her? I don't know. They just didn't want to look. Like I said, they didn't even want to take 2 steps down that road, because if they turned up something, it could have blown their entire case against Steven. That's truly what I believe, and why we don't know who that is or anything about them. Osmondson, yes. Let's see here. It was David Kruger. It was David Kruger? It was Freddy Krueger. No, I'm just kidding. Would explain the burning and the stabbing and the slashing though. No, I'm just kidding though. That was not, no. That was bad me. That was a poor joke. Any more Wisconsin officers in the chat using fake accounts? Is Dr. Pepper and Stella paying you to have? No, they're not. No. Dr. Pepper I've just loved ever since high school. See, I used to get out of football or wrestling practice, after a long school day, and then we would run across the street to the little gas station across the street, and we get the big, it was a Sunshine gas station, right? And we get the big 44-ouncer of Dr. Pepper with ice, so it's ice cold. It was back then in the 90s. It was $1 for the big 44-ouncer, and then I would just, while I was on my way home, I would be just sipping on my ice cold Dr. Pepper, and fond memories. And so I just love Dr. Pepper. Who knows? Maybe someday Dr. Pepper will offer me a little something because I represent for him. But who knows? But no, basically just because I like him. Stella just happens to be what I'm drinking right now. So it could have been Blue Moon. It could have been Heineken. Could have been, yeah. Could have been a few different things, really. Bobby's interview with Dietering was less than. Let's see. Is Dr. Pepper like Coke? Kinda, but not. But it has a different taste, a little bit different taste. Please remember to watch the Look Soon video, please. I need your take on it. Okay. Tell you what, Sela, go to. When we're done here, go to the comments of the video and post the link to it for me. And I'll be able to find it there. Bobby's interview with Dietering was less than satisfying, to say the least. He was questioned about... Yeah, I know. It wasn't... They weren't really looking to go after him. That dude is a nut and not worth watching. Which dude is that? I must have missed something there. What rumors? Kratz obviously has some sort of personality disorder. He thinks he's Tom Brady. Did any facial reaction expert analyze the recordings and statements given? Yes, there is. Like I said, there was. It might be Look Soon, or it might be there's another one. There's another YouTuber whose name is escaping me right now, who actually did a lot of like micro expression analyzation, and I'm pretty sure that she did one on Ryan Hillegas. I think it was actually probably her first one. I find Dr. Pepper to be similar to Cherry Coke, but with a little deeper of flavor instead of the super sweet. Yeah, that's what I like about it. It's not super sweet. No cherry. I hate cherry. I just cannot stand fruit flavors in my soft drink, in my soda. I can't stand it. I like the Dr. Pepper. If I can't get Dr. Pepper, I like RC or Pepsi. And then after that, I'll go for Coke. And if I really can't find any of those, then I'll start looking for the brisk lemonade or something like that. Because, you know, I don't know. Kind of picky what I like. Okay, good night, Miss Fallon. How about those Red Sox? Yeah, I know, right? Congratulations to the Red Sox fans. I'm not all the way convinced about Brendan myself. I'm all the way convinced about Brendan. I never ever had a doubt about Brendan. Adam, I'm not all the way convinced. That's what I've been hearing, but no one is clarifying that. I used to live Dr. Pepper, but I don't drink soda anymore. Do you ever listen to Fresh Start? Yes. He's actually wanting to do a little. He's actually wanting to do a little call with me or something probably pretty soon. Him and I are kind of talking about that. So, you know, the next thing I wanted to go ahead and talk about with some of you guys, if you haven't discovered yet on my channel, I suggest, because I saw in the video today, I was there in the live chat as much as I could be while I was at work. And I saw people were actually wondering what the briefs were, what the Amicus briefs were. Like, they didn't know what the Amicus briefs were and stuff. So that's why I wanted to take some time tonight also to try to explain that at least a little bit. So what the Amicus briefs are, and we call them A briefs for short, just because, you know, we get to talking about so many different things, we start to shorten things up. So they can be referred to as A briefs. I just spilled vodka and took the So the Amicus briefs that were filed for Brendan were just absolutely phenomenal. There was one from the Juvenile Law Center, which is in Philadelphia, which is one of the most prolific and renowned institutions for fighting for justice and the rights of juveniles in our justice system. They filed one. Psychologists and Psychiatrists organization, they filed one. Current and former prosecutors and law enforcement and whatever, they filed one. There was the Innocence Projects, law professors, I mean, all these different entities, and there was a total of six or seven that were filed. The interesting thing, I mean, now, first of all, each one of these briefs on its own had a wealth of information in it. The law professor's brief was just absolutely outstanding. They're law professors, so they were actually citing every single point of Supreme Court law that supported Brendan Dassey, and it was just amazing. The law professors did not miss a beat at all. But if you guys want, you guys can go check out those videos. You can search for them if you just go into the search field on my channel and type in Amicus brief, or Amicus briefs. They should show up. And there, like I said, and then if you watch the video and you're thinking, I want to see more of that, well, that's easy enough, because always right below the video is the link to the full document for you, so you can go and actually read the entire document if you want. They're kind of long. Generally, they're between 20 and 100 pages, depending on any given filing. But yeah, you can always, if you, after watching the video, you think you want to know just a little bit more or something, you can click on the document and read it and to your heart's desire, and and see if there's anything else there that you wanted to know. So they're very interesting. I mean, one of the most memorable quotes that for me that came out of the AA briefs was it went basically along the lines of, a suspect's blood is not the only hallmark of a false confession. And what that's meant to mean is basically that confessions can be coerced by other means than violent means or physical means, and that's what it means. So that's what that. So when they say that, basically, the victim's blood is not the only hallmark of a coerced confession, they're basically just saying that beating a suspect is not the only way to coerce a confession out of him. And I thought it was a very powerful quote from the Supreme Court to use. And so all these A briefs are very, very interesting. You guys keep asking about what can I do, or at least I see that question coming up a lot. And the fact is, what you can do is educate yourself and find out about all these things that I know, and some of the other people that have been working on this, like I have for the last 2.5 years, and getting to know what they know, so that more people know. And the more people that know that what's going on and the truth of things, the better. That's just, that just stands to reason. The more people that know the truth, the better. And the more people that there are out there, so that when some false information tries to come through, the people that are knowledgeable can go, yeah, that's bull. That's, and here's why, right? That's the way to be, right? That's the way to truly counter the misinformation coming out of Wisconsin. It's, to me, the only way. And that's why I'm here. Hey, whatever happened to the Dr. Pepper can that was found? I thought I heard you say that in a video with the dude that destroyed his shed. Destroyed his shed. Dude that destroyed his shed. I think I'm drawing a blank on what you're talking about there. 76 Seahawks. Jury said, in my opinion. That's certainly Zellner's opinion at this point too. No comment. The hardest interrogation to resist is when the interviewer is friendly and helpful and promising comfort. Absolutely. Casey Martinez, Mom Phoenix, posted a video today, and in her info box, she has tons of information on how to send money and help Stephen and Brendan in a way, in that way, and what you can do. Check her info. You can also check the info below this video right here, and it gives you a link to two Sean Atwood videos. And Sean Atwood can also tell you how to get, how you can send mail or things to Stephen or Brendan. So there's one video for Stephen and one video for Brendan. But also, Casey Martinez is also a fine source for that information. She will not steer you wrong. So whichever way you go, that's fine. If you can either, like I said, click the links in below my video to go see Sean Atwood, who will explain it to you, or you can check out Casey Martinez or AKA Mama Phoenix, and you can go check her out, and she will tell you how to do it, and they won't steer you wrong. So either one of those two avenues, and you're going to be able to get where you're going. Let's see here. I remember. I know, but I don't remember. At least I'm not right now, because I'm thinking about being in a live chat, and I just, whatever it is, I'm not. Yeah. Mr. Comment back to me. Totally. I'll get another stop turn. Said, did anyone ever come out? No, and ask Brendan how he came up with his story? Well, it's pretty obvious how he came up with his story. It was fed to him. What I like is, as you learn, you then pass that knowledge on to us, and it helps us learn and understand. Anything I can do to help. It is a learning process. It certainly is that. Brendan said he came up with it from reading Kiss the Girls. That's part of, yeah, he may have been drawing on that for some aspects of it, but literally he didn't have to try to fill in much gaps because they were literally feeding him most of the crucial things they needed him to say. Yeah. So Sean Atwood is excellent. Hey Erekose, your sound is better. The light hum is gone. Oh yeah, I don't have the fan on today. That's why. Yep, you're welcome. So I think we've kind of covered those two subjects here today. Looks like it might be a good time to shut it off. It's getting kind of late for everybody, I imagine, anyways. So thank you, everybody, for showing up today to have a little chat about all this stuff. Thank you, Joy. You're awesome, too. I'm a lightweight? Oh, okay. I'm not stopping because I drank too much. Are you kidding me? Was the principal present the first time they interviewed Brendan? The more research I do, the worse it gets. Yeah, that's true. I listened to one of your videos, and I can't remember which one, but I thought it was the guy who didn't want someone coming over trespassing his wife. Wife said he had scratches. Just not sure right now, Seahawks. I'm gonna have to think on that one. So, oh, you're all so very welcome. You're so welcome. That's why it's why I was saying that I thought it was cool that I can now upload videos and have this same live chat for all of you guys to be able to talk during the first time it plays and stuff. So, I thought that was cool. So I'm gonna intend to try to create this situation as much as I can for all my videos on my channel, especially now that I know how I can do it on uploads. We know we always have the live chat when I go live, so now we can pretty much always have a live chat alongside whatever video is playing, and I think that's going to be really cool. I will check my email. I will watch the Luke Soon YouTube video for Silas, and yeah. And thank you all very much. You guys, look, you guys show up. You guys are, eager to be here and eager to learn and everything. And that's kind of what makes it so much fun. I mean, I was going to take tonight off. As I was telling you guys, I was thinking about taking tonight off. But what can I say? I just can't quit you guys, What's with all the conspiracy posters on the wall behind you? What do you mean conspiracy posters? Talking about over here, that's Beatles Abbey Road, and then down in the bottom right corner over there is a sticker. It's a Led Zeppelin sticker, and then over here, that's an actual Doors poster from the Hollywood Bowl. Well, I think it's a recreation actually, and then that up there is a street sign with a space shuttle on it. So I'm not sure where the conspiracy stuff is. You're gonna have to help me out with that one. Abbey Road is a conspiracy? Oh, okay. Got it. All right. There we go. Well, I happen to be a Beatles fan, so... so I guess I'm a conspiracy guy now because I like the Beatles. Anyways. All right. Well, it's been... You have good taste. Thank you very much. I do enjoy the Beatles. In fact, one of my favorites, especially when I feel like something big's gonna happen in the case, you'll see me post on Twitter. I've got a feeling. I love posting that song when I think something big's gonna happen. And I love that song. I absolutely love that song too. It's a really badass song. So Paul McCartney's is. Thank you for your listening. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it very much, all the praise, and I'm happy to be here to try and pass this info along to as many people and all of you. I know it took me 2.5 years. It took me a long time. I mean, it took me a long time to get up to speed after I watched MAM and getting up to with all the documents. And it took me probably 6 to 8 months and to start understanding social media, because I hadn't really used it previously before that, very much, only minimally. And so suddenly I was getting to know how to use all these different social media platforms, and everything was, in addition to trying to learn the law while I'm following along with Brendan and Steven and stuff and everything. So yeah, it was an interesting experience. So yes, everybody please hit the like button. It's been an absolute pleasure. I love seeing you guys. Hopefully I'll have some time to be able to come back tomorrow night. Just depends what time I get off work, unfortunately. So until the next time. But oh, by the way, folks, just so you know, I will be doing this whole scheduling thing before I go live now, and I will always try to give at least an hour of lead time before. So like today I gave 72 minutes. As soon as I got home, I came in here and I scheduled the live feed and scheduled it. So I tried to give everybody 72 minutes. So if you check back, if you're in the Facebook groups, you can check the Facebook groups, and I'll have a post that'll say I'm getting ready to go live. I can start doing it on Twitter. If most of you actually see this from Twitter, I can start doing a post on Twitter saying we're going to go live in so much time or whatever. But everybody let me know, because I am starting to do that where I'm scheduling it. That way everybody can kind of know when and how to and when to plan for it. And the whole goal is to try to get as many people in on the live feed at once as possible. I'd love to hit like 300 people at some point. Would be totally cool. Have 300 people on it all at one time would be, to me, spectacular. Would be pretty cool. So thank you very much, everybody. You're all spectacular. You're all great. And if you haven't already, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you.